Esteemed academicians, dear participants, welcome to the inaugural session of the one-week online teachers training program being organized by CSVTU Bhilai under the aegis of AICT CSVTU MOU and being facilitated by LCIT Bilaspur. Friends, as you are aware that CSVTU Bhilai, the State Technical University of Chhattisgarh, under its MOU with AICT is organizing this TTP program. This is the 11th TTP program, the concluding program for 2021 series of programs. From April this year onwards, CSVTU will begin the next series of 11 programs. Friends, this TTP program, as you are aware, is on the topic of research methodology, and therefore I am very sure that it will not only be beneficial for skill enhancement program for new teachers or scholars, but also will be as a refresher program for experienced faculty members. Dear friends, without taking much time, I would like to request very respected Dr. R.N. Khare sir, University Coordinator, CSVTU AICT MOU, and Principal VC Ambikapur to kindly deliver the welcome address and the overview about the program. Respected Professor R.N. Khare sir.
Thank you, Robin. First of all, good morning to all of you, and most welcoming to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, who has accepted our invitation for this 11th Teachers Training Program. This is the last training program for this financial year 21-22, which is being organized under the umbrella of AICT CSVTU MOU in collaboration with LCIT Bilaspur. So I welcome to Honorable Chief Guest, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.K. Verma, sir, and also Dr. Amit Kumar Srivastav, who is the Faculty Development Cell Director at AICT New Delhi, although he could not join because of some his busy schedule. Also welcome to PMC Chairman, Professor S.P.S. Matharu, Dr. R.N. Patel, Dr. Manoj Verma, and also Director of LCIT Group, Dr. Piyush Kant Pandeji, Vice Principal of LCIT, Subhi Srivastav, Tripti Majumdar, Piyush Rai, Dr. Robin Thomas, Bapi and Mayank, and many more, and media and dear participant. It really very indeed an honor for me to be here at the inaugural ceremony of this 11th Teachers Training Program. This is I can say this is the last program of this financial year, which is organized between 21st March to 26th March 2022 under the guidance of our Honorable Vice Chancellor. As you know that the objective of this MOU is very clear and very important to conduct this Teachers Training Program by the vision and mission of our Honorable Vice Chancellor to prepare all the faculty members for successful in knowledge society, and after all they will transfer the entire knowledge to our students. So as you aware that this is the last program of this financial year. Topic of this program is really very much accepted by our Honorable Vice Chancellor and AICT team and PMC committee. This topic is research methodology. I congratulate to the organizing committee of LCIT, especially Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey and Professor Piyush Rai, who has really chosen this important topic for program objective and outcome. As you know, this research methodology is very much important for making it a more important idea about the research plan. You can say the many aspects like this entire program is being divided into 4 categories. What is the introduction of this research methodology, analysis of data, collection of data with respect to the primary and secondary point of view, and also lastly the preparation of the reports. So we have designed the entire TTP in 4 categories. In 16 sessions with 16 experts. Experts are very renowned from IIT, NIT, and renowned university, which will definitely enable to understand after attending this technical teachers training program about independent research. Faculty will be able to get the knowledge with respect to the literature review, data collection, code of ethics in the process of the research by various techniques like report writing and outcomes and conclusion of the research projects. And finally, it will be important for their presentation and publication also at the national and international levels. Now, there are some certain guidelines I would like to narrate being a coordinator of this program, that we have 16 sessions, every session having with feedback and with test session. So participants are requested to attend it very attentively. 1 hour will be for lecture, half hour for interactive session, being carried out by around 5 question test. Okay, And if any participant remain absent for more than say 30 minutes continuously in any online session, he will be marked absent for the whole session. So these are some of the important guidelines, and participants have to attend it 80% attendance at least in the entire session by scoring at least 60% marks in the final test to be conducted at the final session. And this online TTP will be of 6 working days, including last day for feedback and validity with 16 session, and last session will be by National Education Policy carried by this Director FDC AICTE New Delhi. So as you know that we have chosen very important topic, very important resource person by huge expenditure of university and AICTE. And I am very much happy that 150 participants are registered from all over India, from Jammu Kashmir to Andhra Pradesh. Again, request to all the participants to become a master trainer and transfer their knowledge to our stakeholders, which are the real students of our knowledge society. The entire program is aligned with National Education Policy by the vision and mission of our Honorable Vice Chancellor. And basic objective to enhance gross enrollment ratio and make it more employability for the students especially. So I request to all the participants be attentively attended and participate in all the sessions, okay? And hope that the entire program will be great successful. And once again, I am very much thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor and all the guests, EMC, who has accepted our invitation in very short small time with the basic vision and mission that we hope that the entire program will be great successful in future ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, respected Dr. R.N. Khare sir. Thank you, sir, for the welcome address and the overview of the program. And as respected principal sir has already mentioned that AICTE FDC Director Amit Kumarji, Dr. Amit Kumarji, and PMC Chairman Professor S.P.S. Matharu sir has sent his best wishes and regards for the success of the program. As I am told that PMC Chairman Dr. S.P.S. Matharu sir is in transit, he is in some travel, so therefore he would not be able to join us. But we have another very esteemed academician, very esteemed professor with us, very respected Professor Dr. R.N. Patel sir from NIT Raipur. Sir is PMC committee member, the very active and very dynamic, renowned academician from NIT Raipur. I would like to request respected Dr. R.N. Patel sir to kindly address this online gathering, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, and a warm good morning to everyone. Respected Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, thank you very much, sir, and Piyush Kant Pandey, sir, and R.N. Khare, sir, and dear respected colleagues and all the participants. So it's an honor to speak on this forum today. So it's a very important topic, very pertinent topic for all of us, research methodology, and it's of relevance to everyone in some way. So I feel I request all the participants on behalf of PMC to be very attentive. And as Khare sir has mentioned that this program of AICTE, there is it's a unique kind of program that Honorable Vice Chancellor sir has arranged for all of us. And a lot of I have been witnessing all the different themes of different workshops all the way. This is the 11th one, and it is actually really helpful for Chhattisgarh to improve the quality of education, and in fact it will go a long way for our education system. So this particular topic, I request that there are few important things to pay attention to, especially how to find out the research problem itself. That itself is a big question, and I hope the participants will pay attention to this. And if you find a good research problems, as they say that the well begun is half done. So I have been guiding many students. So the first of all, the problem selection itself is a good big question. And once the people have seen people selecting wrong kind of problems, so and then the whole all the way they actually have a lot of struggles. So once you get a good problem, you have your journey is 50% journey is in fact successful. And after that, you also come to know that how to have the proper kind of research methodology, how to select proper tools for the research. All these things will be discussed in detail in this training program. And as you see, the experts from all the IITs and NITs are there to help you, guide you, and resources for this also is being made available in form of this Sodh Ganga by CSVTU. All our previous research thesis is available to all of us. But I want to request on behalf of PMC one specific thing to all of you, that please do have a proper attention, so that you can actually find. One thing is missing in Chhattisgarh, which I feel, is that we are not basing our problems based on the real life. So I have seen this happening, and Government of India is PMC to actually ask the experts how to make your thesis more based on real life problems, real life issues, and that has been the focus of Vice Chancellor sir also, that localized problems. And nowadays there are a lot of forums where the Government of India is trying to tell people that find local problems, industrial problems, problem-based things. So somehow there is a lot of gap between the research and the real life issues of people, industries, and even education system. So I request that all the participants, when you interact with the experts, please do ask questions how to make this kind of problem statement for your thesis. Whenever you do that, try to focus on implementation of your research to real life, so that people will benefit, and Chhattisgarh definitely will grow. So local context and the real life based problem solving should be the focus of research, and more Government of India is trying to do that in terms of startups, in terms of many other programs. So there is a new concept which I want to say of startup PhD, where PhD can also lead to a startup. That kind of focus, if you have in this learning, and definitely give you a new dimension to you. With that, all the best wishes to all the participants and to organizers. Thank you, sir, for allowing me to speak. Thank you, and best wishes to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, respected Dr. R.N. Patel, sir, for the very relevant address, sir. And now, before inviting very respected Honorable VC, sir, for addressing the gathering, I have the honor of reading the brief introduction of very respected Honorable VC, sir. My dear friends, our Honorable VC, sir, of Chhattisgarh Swami Vivekanand Technical University, Bhilai, is a throughout topper and nationwide renowned leader in academics. Sir has more than 36 years of academic experience, encompassing several leadership roles such as head of the department and dean for many years, and a vice chancellor for more than 8 years. Sir is a well-known academic leader, acknowledged for bringing transformational changes in technical education administration, trailblazing multiple reforms in administration, academics, quality of technical education, and innovatively increasing efficiencies of administrative processes in university for the benefit of students and affiliating institutions. The personal integrity and academic prominence of respected VC sir is evident that he has been a long-standing empaneled expert at the UPSC New Delhi, the Staff Selection Commission New Delhi, and NBA New Delhi. Sir is the only academician to have attained a consecutive second term as Vice Chancellor in all the technical universities in India, an achievement which he has the exclusive honor of. Sir has been a professor in the Department of Civil Engineering at National Institute of Technology, Raipur. Sir has received scholarship throughout his studies from higher secondary school to doctoral level. Sir has also been known to have a grip on the pressing social and economic needs of students and faculty members from all walks of life, and is a well-known, considerate gentleman with firm administrative acumen. Sir has various awards and recognitions, which includes the Young Scientist Award in 1988 by MP Cost for design improvement of turbine manufactured by BHEL, CIGR Exemplary Academic Leadership Award 2021 for extraordinary work in education, employment, and self-reliance. Sir has created and established ISTU, bringing all technical universities under one platform. Sir has been the chairman of Translation Committee of New Delhi, a member of National Coordination Committee for Implementation of National Initiative of Technical Teachers Training of AICTE New Delhi. Sir has overseen the work of translating the AICTE question bank to Hindi as the chairman of the AICTE Translation Initiative in regional languages. The CSVTU is the first university to successfully submit the Hindi translation of AICTE question bank of about 23,000 questions under the AICTE ASLAP project under the NEP 2020, involving 100 experts in 13 disciplines and two state universities, that is CSV2 Bhilai and RGPV Bhopal. The feat includes implementation of 360-degree feedback process for implementation of NEP 2020. Sir has been the guiding light behind AICT's quality initiatives like NITTT, National Initiative for Technical Teachers Training, which is mandatory for the purposes of regularization and promotion to all teachers, implementation of examination reforms, the first offline program for non-teaching officers and staff in India under AICTE CSVTU-MOU, which is actually now a model program. Sir is known for exam reforms in CSVTU and for bringing the online system of valuation through Tata Consultancy Services, one of the few universities in India to adopt the online mechanism, and full implementation of ERP mechanism through TCS for prompt, efficient, and hassle-free working. This has resulted in regularization of exam timeline, thereby regularizing the academic calendar. To this date, the university is on complete ERP mechanism, a feat few universities have achieved in India till now. Sir has also done exemplary social work, NSS work of adding 40 students from various villages of Chhattisgarh for inculcating understanding of sensitivity towards societal needs and self-dependence, and has adopted 42 villages. His Excellency the Governor has appreciated the works of respected VC Sir for this achievement, Forum for Solution of Social Problems and establishment of water resources. My dear friends, the list, the achievements goes on and on. As I'm aware that you will be longing for hearing from respected VC Sir, this TTP and all the TTPs being conducted under the AICTE CSVTU MOU are under the leadership, guidance and directives of respected VC Sir. Sir has very sincere focus on the improvement of quality of technical education. My dear friends, respected academicians, without taking much time, I would like to request very respected Honorable VC Sir, Professor M.K. Verma Sir, to kindly address this online gathering, sir. Respected VC, sir.
Thank you very much, Robin. In the series of faculty development programs, this is for this current session, it is the last one, but this is the one of the most important because of its topic and coverage. Because of its topic and coverage, why I am saying that whenever we talk about the research, we find that it is a continuous process. Each and everybody who is human being, they are always engaged in the research. You can see and observe that even a small children, they are also trying to do something as per their interest and liking. They try to come up with exploration attitude basically in their mind, and you will find that they are exploring the things and they are getting it. So research is a basically mankind's approach, and that's why we as a human being are one of the best creature on the globe. But whenever the research is coming as a part of curriculum and it is a yardstick for promotions and recognitions, then a number of researches are being taken place, but it is losing somewhere, or I should say, it needs to be refocused where to do these researches. Many of researches are of academics in nature, fundamental in nature, but whenever we see the requirement of the society, we find that we are, as scientific community, we are ignoring the requirement of the society, and delinking of the society or delinking from the society's need of the researchers is something which needs to be refocused, and that's why we all are striving to take up the problems which are of importance of society and need of the society. As far as need of the society is concerned, it may be having different aspects. It may be political, it may be economical, it may be scientific, it may be market driven, it may be agricultural, even it may be containing the social aspects of the life. So this is how the coverage of research domain may cover up all domains of the human life. And wherever we observe the requirement or need of the society, we should think our we should orient our thinking that how this problem can be precipitated as one of the research level problem. Whenever we talk about the many of the thesis research which we are doing or carrying out, it is of analysis and putting certain results over it. But as far as application is concerned, we are lacking somewhere. And whenever we talk about a scientist and an engineer scientist, there is a wide difference. Scientist is always going to take the fundamentals of the science, whether it is physics, chemistry, mathematics, fundamental laws, and like that. And whenever we talk about the engineers, engineers are the community who is having responsibilities to apply the sciences through the engineering for the benefit of the society. And here we find we are also engaging in that academic interest domain only, then it needs a refocusing. That is what I think. As far as some examples are concerned, we are always having a lot many problems in the society. If we look upon, for example, to the agriculture sector, we see that various agricultural equipments are there, which are of old in fashion, which may be automized, which may be imbibed with the technology of IT, with the technology of electronics, automation, IoT. Like that, we can improve those equipmentation, and it needs a great area of, it opens great area of our research community. Similarly, for the agricultural operations services, whenever we talk about the operation, we find that whatever the agricultural operations are there in and around in every areas, we find that we may go for uh, basically in the Chhattisgarh, we are cultivating the paddy. So in the paddy, what are the processes, how the transplantation may be taken, how it can be automated. Similarly, for the water management, we can go for thinking automatic sensors, which will be automatically controlling the irrigation into the field. Similarly, we can go for application of fertilizers, application of pesticides through the drone, so that we can control it and we can assure the uniform application and get the desired results. Likewise, in the equipmentation, many equipments are there in the mechanical field. We can think about it. We can go, what are the problems at the field, how we can rectify it. Like that, many aspects are there. After this, in the agriculture sector, again, another marketing is there, that is services and marketing. So we can go for creating this type of platform with all improvement that will be facilitating their needs and also facilitating the availability of various equipments and services. Moreover, this agriculturist people are very weak in the marketing. So whenever we can create a good research and good applied market platform for them, they can get good value of their products. This is how in the agriculture sector we can think about. In the urban area, we can think about the real problem, how these people have to manage all this urban through the engineering and technology, whether it is transportation, whether it is traffic control, whether it is drainage in the city area, whether it is solid waste disposal system. Likewise, we can embed our IT and IoT, and we can develop many things for urban areas, apart from the GIS and accurate surveying and this type of facility and their analysis. Similarly, in the society also, we can see how the things are being made available to every citizen through the internet. What are the contents which are useful for the society? What are the components which are responsible for crime and other things? We can think up and we can come up with controlling devices electronically to all these undesirable contents available on the internet. Similarly, environment, we can go for planning of an environment. We can go for management of any organization, government organization. We can think about providing automation with all our research to the various departments. This is how many applied areas are there. Whenever we see with this eye, we find that every domain of life is having great potential for applied research. It is to be identified, and this can be done through a vast literature review. Literature review is the starting point which provides us the state of art in the domain in which we are interested to go for our applied research. State of arts, once you know, you come across what are the exact position of research, what is the status of research, and also you come across the possible directions, possible domains of research. This is how most important part of all the research process is to go through thoroughly this literature review. And after the literature review, you will come across various research methodologies as one of the part of our research curriculum. Whenever we talk about research methodology, we come across, we can classify it qualitative and quantitative. As far as engineers are concerned, we have to go for embedded application of qualitative and quantitative. We start our research by collecting the data, and that is our quantitative. After analyzing all this data, we come across certain results which is leading to qualitative. So this is how from quantitative to qualitative we have to turn over, and it is to be turned towards the application domain. And various research methodologies are there. It depends upon which type of input variables we are using, which type of research domain we are talking about, and whether the characteristics of input parameters variables are deterministic or it is some stochastic in nature. And depending upon the nature of your basic parameters, we are having different methodologies, research methodologies. It may be statistical, it may be differential, it may be based on higher mathematics, it may be non-converging, it may be converging. So depending upon the nature of our research, which we come to understand after thoroughly going through this research methodology, we are in position to make a choice of research methodologies, which is better, which will be more suited. And this is how the present FDP, which is focusing on the research methodologies, is very important for all research community, how to select which methodology is more appropriate and applicable with your problem. So this is very important, and that is why this particular topic has been taken up. And in the FDP, for many faculties, those who are engaged in the research process are those who are guiding the research. both the faculty people will be finding it very useful. For example, I will just quote one thing. Artificial intelligence. We are applying many techniques of artificial intelligence. We are having various softwares. Whenever we come across the input parameter, then processing unit hidden in the hidden layer, we come across various mathematical functions. 10 function, sine function, cosine function, like that many functions are there. This mathematical characteristics of the function, whether it Dipali Sahu, you are making mute to my microphone. Kindly do not do it. I have to do it repeatedly. I have to make it on. So whenever we have to choose a particular function within the AI for the application, here needs your knowledge about your input parameter, characteristics of input parameters, which they are suiting, which function will be, which function is demonstrating real nature of your characteristics quantity. This is how in-depth thought is needed while we are using. I am not understanding why this particular mute is being repeatedly done, whether it is automatic or, but I am getting a message that Dipali Sahu is making
दीपाली ये
mute.
कौन है दीपाली ये पंडित जी थोड़ा देखिए कौन है आपके यहाँ से
check it. It is
पंडित जी थोड़ा
repeated 4-5 times, है ना? So anyway, take care. So my saying is that whenever we apply the tools, we should be able to understand mathematical characteristics of our variables, whether it is input and output. Then only we will be in position to decide which tool is more appropriate for the problem on your hand. So this is how the research methodology, when you will be going through this 6-day FDP program, you are encouraged to question the experts so that they will be able to answer your questions, and you will be having greater insight mathematically into the various research methodologies. In case of stochastic nature of input parameters, variables, we go for various statistical methods, and you know that statistics is separate mathematics. Again, there you will have to understand which tool is more important for the input variable which you have chosen. How does it is matching and mapping with the characteristics of your input variables. These all are certain basic fundamental things while you will be choosing and while you will be going through the adaptation of research methodology. This is what I just wanted to communicate to all the research fraternity of our faculty members, those who are attending it, those who are guiding, or those who are making their own research for the shake of PhD or MTech, whatever it is. So with the hope and expectation that all the deliberations by the experts will be very useful, and our participant will be definitely asking such type of questions so that they can make some understanding and line of thinking and thought excited in their mind about the research methodology and suitability of research methodology, how to choose a suitable research methodology. With this all expectation, I express my best wishes for success of this particular FDP, which is very important in its series, and that's why it has taken as the last FDP. I wish all the best to everybody and express my sincere thanks to the coordinator and all the members who are participating, all the members who are organizing, and Professor Matharu, Professor Patel, and Dr. Manoj Verma. I wish lastly once again that everybody should be going through very seriously all the deliberations, lectures with the all question and answer session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the very sincere and very beautiful message, sir. And I sincerely hope that the organizers will be striving towards higher research processes. What sir has identified, stochastic processes and deterministic processes, they would be including in their lectures. And thank you so much again, sir, for the address, sir. Now, I would like to request very respected Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, sir, Director, AICTE Group of Institutions, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks, sir. Respected Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, sir.
Good morning, everybody, and it's really a great pleasure for us to have heard such a person from who is a son of the soil also, but who holds such a huge knowledge about the science, engineering, research, and every area. Not only that, and even the research in agriculture and whatnot, he is capable of doing that. So I'm very thankful on behalf of LCIT Group of Institutions. First of all, to our very honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Dr. M.K. Verma, who has very nicely put what really the research methodology is, and more specifically, as he has made it clear to us that how of the research is the most important thing. Systematic doing of a research in a very proper manner is the research methodology. So he has very beautifully outlined this whole process. So first of all, I'll thank the chief guest of the program, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.K. Verma, for this wonderful speech and an inauguration. I'll also thank Dr. Amit Srivastava, Director of FDC, AICTE, New Delhi, because both of them have approved this particular FDC, and very nicely these programs have been going on. And I'm sure that the entire faculty of the not only of CSVTU, rather all over from India are being benefited. Right now, I can see more than 95 members are live. So this really goes to the credit of the whole team. I would like to first of all thank Dr. M.K. Verma, Dr. Amit Srivastava, then PMC Chairman Dr. S.P.S. Matharu, and also Dr. R.N. Patel, who has very nicely put out the exposure about the various issues which are the concern. I will also thank Dr. K.K. Verma, who's the registrar of CSVTU, and Dr. R.N. Khare, Principal VEC Jambikapur, who is acting as university coordinator, and the entire team who had been very, kind to associate the LCIT team members for conduction of this program, because this is a program which is in a joint collaboration. It helps to improve the quality of all. So I'll also thank the chairman and vice chairman of LCIT Group of Institutions, Mrs. Shubhi Srivastava, vice principal, who is also acting as the coordinator for this particular program from our side, Ms. Tripti Majumdar, who is the co-coordinator. I'll also thank Mr. Piyush Rai and Dr. Robin Thomas from VC Ambikapur. And I'll also mention Ms. Namrata Ojha from LCIT, Ms. Sanjana Mitra from LCIT. And most importantly, I would like to thank the esteemed resource persons from various IITs, also NITs and IIMs, who have taken this very important topic for the benefit of all the students, researchers, as well as faculty members. And I'm sure that this topic will be helping all the people of science, technology, engineering, and management for making a beautiful and a meaningful research in their careers. So I'll thank all the participants from various parts of India, and also all the technical support team who has been very kind to support us in the whole program. And I'm sure this collaborative programs, this type of programs will be continuing by AICTE and CSVTU, so that all of us can bring our state and our nation to the forefront of the whole world. So from our side, I would be very thankful to all the members over here, and I'm sure, and we are all looking forward to wonderful sessions ahead. Thank you very much.
Robin.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, respected Piyush Kant Pandey, sir. And now may I seek the permission of very respected Honorable VC, sir, to conclude this session, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Such a wonderful speech. We were very enlightened by your speech, sir.
Thank you very much to everybody and best wishes for all the participants and experts so that it may be really beneficial to everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you
Thank you,
so
madam.
much, sir. Thank you very
Thank you
much,
so much, sir.
respected VC, sir. And I would like to request Dr. Shubhi Srivastav to kindly announce the timetable of the next session, madam.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, all the dignitaries and the faculty members present are here. The next session will be starting from 12 sharp. So I would request all of you to stay connected with this particular session itself so that we can carry forward with this session only.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you so
Pandit.
much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
It's a very good start. So thanks to the entire team.
Yes. ठीक है, सुभी मैडम, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir,
Thank you.
for coming and giving your time.
Requesting all the members not to leave so that we can continue the session with this link only. And our speaker would be joining us in some time. So we're looking forward for starting with the session very soon. Thank you. So it's time that we start with the overall sessions of our TTP. So, good afternoon all. I, Tripti Majumdar from Department of Management Studies, LCIT Group of Institution, would like to welcome you all in this AICTE CSVTU-MU Joint Teachers Training Program. So let's start with our session on research methodology. And the topic for first session is on Introduction to Research Methodology. Before the session starts, I would like to introduce you all to our speaker, Dr. Ganesh P. Shukla, Assistant Professor, Guru Ghasidas University, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. Dr. Shukla is graduate and gold medalist in B Industrial and Production Engineering. He has done his MTech from IIT ISM Dhanbad, and he is a PhD from IIT Bombay. Dr. Shukla has been teaching and having a research experience of more than 10 years, and he has 7 journals and 1 conference publications on his name. His area of research interest and expertise are on manufacturing strategy, sustainable manufacturing, operation management, green supply chain management, and many more. Now, over to you, Dr. Shukla, for this session. We are looking forward to get a lot of information and knowledge from you on this research methodology topic. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tripti ma'am. And first of all, I would like to greet all the participants. Good morning to all of you. I should say good afternoon. I think it's at 12 or 12 noon. Then good afternoon. And am I audible to everyone now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, one and all. And before going to my session, I would like to convey my warm thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor of CSVTU, Professor M.K. Verma, Registrar of CSVTU-LCIT, Professor K.K. Verma, CSVTU Coordinator, AICTE FDP Program, Dr. R.N. Khare, Principal, Vishwavidyalaya Engineering College, Ambikapur, Professor Piyush Kant Pandey, Director, LCIT, Bilaspur, Dr. Himanshu Vaishnava, Coordinator of this program, this FDP, and Ms. Tripti Majumdar, Co-Coordinator of this program. I would like to convey my warm thanks to all of you to providing me a wonderful opportunity to speak about the very wonderful, or I should say that the topic that is research methodology. And I should understand that I should consider that there are the participants who are from the different part of the country. They are looking forward to understand what is the research methodology, how we should pursue our research, because everyone wants to know about the basic integrity, basic things of the research. Then this is the first session of this 5 days FDP, and I got an opportunity to introduce this wonderful FDP, and my session would be on introduction of the research methodology. Then this is a wonderful opportunity for me, and I'll try my best to give the basic details about the research methodology. And the rest of the session, I have seen the schedule of the schedule of this FDP, and I found that the organizers have they have capped the schedules very I should say that in the in very detail, and rest of the sessions, then I should appreciate the organizer to keep the sessions in very detail, and they also found the speakers for different speakers. I was going to that schedule and I found that, and I should appeal to all participants, they should attend all the sessions, because here in this particular session, just I will give a glimpse of the research. What is the research? What are the types of the research? In that way only, but the details will be definitely taken care by the rest of the speakers. Let me start my let me share my screen. Then I'll start my presentation. Now, can anybody confirm my screen is visible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir. Your screen is
Okay,
visible.
thank you. And I would also like to request to the Tripti ma'am to, if due to some technical glitches, if I would be disconnected, then please let me know so that I can reconnect. And because this is the one of the, I should say that the drawback of the online classes, when we start and will not be able to know whether we are connected or not, then this is my request to you.
Sure,
Please,
sir.
yeah.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Sure, sir.
Then the today's topic of the presentation is the introduction to research methodology. Then I'll start my presentation with the statement given by the Albert Einstein. Oh, this is very known personality across the world. He says about that, about the research is, if we knew what we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? What you people think? Means indirectly wanted to say that if research is what? Research is to find out something new, to add something new in the existing knowledge. So with this quote of the Albert Einstein, I will move forward. And this is the flow of my today's presentation. I'll cover entire presentation in the following way. First, I would give the glimpse of the research, basic definitions given by the different philosopher and the researchers, what they say about the research. Then moving further, then I'll also throw the light on the objectives of the research, why we should do the objectives. That would be covered in the motivation part. Everyone has a different motivation to conduct the research. Being an academician, being an aspirant, just people, some of the participants are the PhD students, then they might have some different motivation to conduct the research. Some of the professors or academicians, they might have the different motivations. Then here I'll tell about some basic motivations behind the research. Then that is important. Now we'll move forward to the different types of the research. And also I'll cover the research approaches. Broadly, I'll cover the research approaches and research types. I'll not go into the detail because detail will be taken care by the coming speakers. And significance of the research, how the research is significant, what is the importance of the research, why we should conduct the research. Then the next and very important topic, that is called the research method and methodology. Means there is what are the difference between the methods and methodology, because I should say that most of us have some doubt what is the difference between the research methods and research methodology. Then here I'll give you some details. I should say that differences, what we should say is research method and what we should say the research methodology. What are the basic difference between both these terminologies? Then the important thing, the research process. Here I'll throw the light on the steps which are required to conduct the research. Then I'll conclude my presentation with the qualities and problems, qualities of the good research. I'll highlight some good qualities. What should be the part? What kind of the qualities there should be in a research? And I'll end my presentation with the problems encountered by researchers in India. I'll tell about the few problems which are being faced by the researchers in the India. Then moving further. Then next is what is research. There are the various definitions available in the literature, books. Then I have taken some important and most widely definitions. Most cited definition is of the research is a systematic and organized, underlined, form of continuous attention applied to a field of knowledge, undertaken to establish facts, relations, principles, and theories. What is this? This is what? A systematic and organized form of continuous attention applied to a field of knowledge, undertaken to establish facts, relations, principles, and theories. Please give more attention on the underlined and colored word. Then one by one, continuous attention means prefix re implies returning to the study again and again. That's why this is combination of research. What is the combination of what? Research. Then again you have to go and find out, go and do study and try to understand what is existing, what we can do. Then that is the part of the continuous attention. We have to give more focus on the our existing knowledge, then based on that, again, we have to think about that, what we can do further. So that is the part of the continuous attention. This is the combination of these words. Research is defined with the help of these important terminologies. The next further is what? Systematic and organized. What do you mean by that? What do you understand? What should be the meaning of this one is that the scientific method. Scientific method is what? Arbitrary, anybody cannot come and say that this is my finding without showing that methods, what are the steps to apply it. Scientific methods means there are some guidelines to conduct the research. Means you have to find out your research problem, then you have to have some literature, then you have to establish your problem. Based on your problem, there must be some hypothesis or some your research questions, objectives. Then to answer those questions, to find out the answer those research questions, then there should be some methodology, experiments. Then based on the result of the experiments, you can have some conclusion. Then this is the way, this is the entire process you can see in together, that is called the scientific method. Means in that way only you can conduct the research. Generally means arbitrary, or suddenly somebody will come and say, no, I got an answer, this is my research, this is a new knowledge. No, nobody can believe on you. That's why this is means there should be some scientific method behind the research. Then the next terminology is establishing facts. Means there should be some description. That's why I said that there should be a methodology, result, argument, detail about all these things, about your new findings. That is the part of your establishing facts. Then establishing relations, explanation and correlations between the variables. That is the part of your result of the research. Okay, then in that way people can believe, people can rely on that, whatever variables you have chosen.
दीपांजलि मैम का उसके इशू के लिए.
Sorry,
sir.
Okay. Then establishing principles and theories. When based on your findings, you can come up with your principles and theories. That is the ultimate result of the result. In that way, you can say that these are the integral part of your research. What should be the integral part? There should be a continuous attention. It must be the systematic and organized. It should establish the facts, means there should be some relationship based on your experiments, then establishing relation between the different variables, and after all, that is the ultimate result of result. You can come up with your theories and principles and your findings. In that way, this is the simple way in which you can define the research. There are other definitions also which are available in the literature. I have brought some of them. This is what? Search of knowledge. And scientific and systematic. What is that? The search of knowledge is also called the research, and one can also define research as a scientific and systematic search for pertinent information on a specific topic. Say for the example, there are some people, those who belongs to computer science and engineering, they want to do some research in the some machine learning and something. Okay, then they must have that systematic process should be there. What is the existing knowledge till now? They want to apply the machine learning in agriculture field, then they must have the with them. What is the progress till now in slide? Then there should be some then research gap, then your research problem, then your literature, then your hypothesis, then your techniques. In that way, this is called the research. Research is a scientific investigation. Please keep in your mind, scientific, systematic, these are the important terminology. According to the Advanced Learners Dictionary of the current English meaning of research, as a careful investigation or inquiry, especially through search of new facts in any branch of knowledge. A careful investigation or inquiry. That's why research is what? It is also called the investigation or inquiry, especially through search of new facts. Then you have to find out new facts in any branch. It can be for the computer science, mechanical, production, social science, art, history, wherever you want to apply. These are the basic definitions. And one of the another academician, Radman and Mori, defined research as a systemized effort to gain new knowledge. Systemized means that should be replicable. Suppose I do some research and I quote that, I claim that this is my finding of the research. If same kind of the situation and surroundings would be provided to someone else, then the results should be replicated. That's why the systemized, scientific, that the importance of these terminologies. We can't say that this is my result that cannot be replicated. Always it should be replicated. That is the means you can say that that should be the one of the quality of your research. I'll also throw the light when I'll talk about the research good qualities of the good research. Some people consider research as a movement from the known to unknown. Yes, it's a movement. Yeah, you know something, then try to explore which is unknown. Then that is the research. That is the simple definition. Okay, then in summary, we can conclude based on the various definitions available in the literature. Research is thus an original contribution to the existing stock of knowledge, making for its advancement. It is a pursuit of truth with the help of study, observation, comparison, and experiment. It is what? It is original contribution to the existing stock of knowledge. That is, and to contribute, you must follow some scientific method. This is the, I should say, this is the summary of the definitions, various definitions available in the literature. It is what? Suppose the researcher should contribute something, and the contribution should come with the help of the systematic and scientific method. Okay, I think these are the means in that way you can understand what is research. Okay, then if you'll go through the Google, if you'll find out the books, then the summary and means ultimate gist of the definition is that one only, to contribute something in existing knowledge. Then now objectives of the research. What should be the objective? Okay, then the main aim of the research is to find out the truth which is hidden and which has not been discovered yet. This is very important. Underline this one. This has not been discovered as yet. What do you mean? How you can ensure that your contribution is new? Then how anybody can ensure this? That literature survey supports you. That's why people say, I think you might have heard about from your supervisor, your colleague, your seniors, you must have good literature review. You should not miss anything. Suppose I am going to establish my research problem and I miss some research paper which already have addressed the problem which I made right now. Then that is not at all any new contribution. Got my point? That's why I should say, I should appeal, I appeal to all of you, because the aspirants or the researchers, or you can say that the PhD scholars, you should do your literature review very thoroughly. Please don't take lightly. Okay, that is the important aspects in your research. And another objective of the research is to gain familiarity with a phenomena or to achieve a new insights into it. Means find out a new insights. That is called the exploratory or formulative research studies. I'll discuss later. I'll give more detail about these type of the research in under that category. To portray accurately the characteristics of a particular individual, situation, or a group. Okay, the studies with this objective is viewed as a descriptive research studies. Another objective of the research is to determine the frequency with which something occurs or with which it is associated with something else. This kind of the study is called the diagnostic research studies. Mostly this kind of research is done in the medical science. And to test a hypothesis of a causal relationship in variables, this kind of the research is called hypothesis testing research studies. Okay, the scholars, the participants who belongs to the management, social science, they must have in engineering also, they must have some hypothesis. Then I'll tell you, I'll not cover what is the hypothesis, because there is I have seen that there is a dedicated session for this hypothesis testing and hypothesis formulation. So these are the objectives. Having said this, then moving forward, then motivation, why anybody should do the research. What makes people to undertake research? Okay, if I take the example of the research scholars, okay, then what they think about that, why they should do, because the ultimate goal is to get their degree, and that is one kind of the broader motivation, biggest motivation for them. Do you agree or not? Yes. Then there are the different
Yes, sir.
motivations. Yes. Ultimately, you people need that thing. Yes. Then that's why there are the different people, and they have different motivation. First motivation, I intentionally capped that desire to get a research degree along with its consequential benefits. Pure research scholars, those who are pursuing their research, they want to have their degree by doing this research, and definitely they'll get the benefits. That is the one motivation. Okay. Another motivation can be what? Desire to face the challenges in solving the unsolved problems. These are the different people, those who think in that way. There are the people, yes, that's why they do this kind of the things. Medical science, different development of the different medicines for the different disease, this kind of the things motivate the people. That's why they do in that way. So this might be another motivation. And desire to get intellectual joy of doing some creative work. There are the people, those do the research for doing this thing, to enjoying the research and to get some creative work. Okay. Then filmmakers also do some research to make their creative, to come up with the new pictures. Before launching the pictures, before making the pictures, they definitely do some deeper research to bring the things in a proper way. Desire to be a service to society. This is also one kind of the motivation. Yes, most of the research, application-based, applied research, medical science research, social science research, okay, are motivated to serve the society. Ultimately, what any kind of the research is toward the making the society. If you research will not able to contribute something in the society, means we should think in that way also. What is the usefulness of the our research? Desire to get respectability, that might be another reason. Then these are the some of the motivations. Okay, there are the various motivations. These I have listed some of the motivations, 5 motivations to conduct the research, to do the research. Then moving to forward that understanding of the basics of the research, then objectives, motivations. Then this is also the participants, those who are in a very initial stage. These informations are very important for them, because I have been observing that people do not have the basic understanding of the types of the research. They are the PhD holders. If I'll ask a basic which kind of the research you have done, then they will not be able to respond. Then whatever we'll do in our PhD, okay, it's okay, but we must have the understanding of the type of the research, which kind of the research is available, and my research falls in which domain. These are the basic things every researcher must understand this thing. Then this is the classification of the research, and it has been classified into different viewpoints. Broadly, it has classified into 3 viewpoints: application, according to the application, according to the objectives, and according to the inquiry mode, how you are conducting your research. Based on that, research types are classified, and according to the applications, they are classified, further sub-classified into 2 categories, that is called the pure and applied research. Under objectives, descriptive, exploratory, correlational research, and explanatory research. Then inquiry mode, quantitative research, and qualitative research. I'll discuss in the coming slides what these kind of the research are called, which kind of the research falls under this kind of the categories. Okay, then these are the broader classification. Then definitely these are the very important terminologies for every researcher, every academician, and every research scholars. Okay, then here some same classification is given by another author, that is called empirical, descriptive, analytical, applied, fundamental, quantitative, qualitative. Okay, then these are then you should think about that after completing this session. Then definitely those who are in between of their research, or those who are in initial stage of their research, they should think about that, which kind of the research they are doing. Okay, I'll not ask the question right now because it's a very limited time allowed to me for this particular session. Then I'll not ask the questions, because I believe that it should be two-way, but due to the online, there is a restriction. I cannot ask and I cannot see the faces of you people. Then definitely, due to these restriction, we should go and I'll ask to you people that I'll appeal to you people that you should, after understanding of these basic classifications, then you should sit silently and think about that, which kind of the research you are doing and your research falls under which domain. Then definitely you will be able to, and you should keep in your mind for entire life, okay, what research you have done. Okay, then according to the applications, applied versus fundamental. Applied means that is the action, that is applicability, means that's why based on real day-to-day problems. The problem, suppose how we can reduce the CO2 emission for the power plant. That is one of the research problem. Okay, I'll visit to the power plant, then I see they are emitting a lot of CO2. Then what I can do is that falls under the which category? Applied. And pure, that is the purely fundamental and basic kind of the research is called the pure research. I'll tell you that thing. This fundamental research is what? Tries to expand the already existing scientific knowledge base. Already the knowledge is there, then you are adding something more. That is the fundamental research. Applied is what? Applied research focuses on solving real life problems. Okay, then you can think about that. Most of the academic PhDs, okay, fall under the fundamental. I should say that they want to add something, but we should shift from fundamental to applied. We should take a real life problem. Okay, I was quoting the example of the agriculture and image processing and some that machine learning kind of the thing in that way. We should think about that, how my research can be used by the farmer to get the more yield. Then that, if you do that kind of the research, you will come up with some model. Then you can say that would be the applied research, and that would be useful for the farmers. And in that way, your research would be it would contribute to the society. That is the example of the applied research. Okay, fundamental research is the purely theoretical. We come up with a result. Nobody is using this one. Ultimately result, then that is the fundamental. Applied research has a practical approach, and primary concerns is to develop scientific knowledge and predictions. That is the fundamental research. And primary concerns of the applied research is to stress on the development of technology and technique with the help of the basic sciences. Okay, technology development. Most of the technologies, all this engineering kind of the research comes under this one. Similarly, same definitions: market research, design safety, health, pollution, societal, environmental, industrial, pharmaceuticals, etc. falls under the applied research. As I said, CO2 emission, how we can reduce the CO2 emission of the power plant. That can be the part of applied research. Fundamental, pure mathematics, theoretical physics, analysis of human behavior. These comes under the fundamental. I think then now you will be able to classify your own research. Then according to the objectives, exploratory and descriptive. Exploratory research is what? It is usually conducted when a researcher has just begun an investigation and wishes to understand the topic generally. If they do not have anything in their hand, just they want to explore what will happen. They must have some intuition. On the basis of that, just take an example. Our sales are declining. Why? There is a sales manager or some organizations, then they think that why it is happening, why our sales is declining. Then you do not have anything. Then you have to find out the answer of this question. Then that kind of the research falls under the exploratory. Okay, and descriptive is what? It aims to describe or define the topic at hand. Already you have something in your hand. Example is what? Who is buying our products? You have a product, then you want to understand that thing. Another example is what? Investigating how the public senses of influential government official differs between urban and non-urban areas. These are some social science examples I have brought over there because the people will be able to relate. Suppose I present here as a pure engineering problem, then there are the heterogeneous group of the participants. That's why I brought the normal example so that everyone can be able to relate. Okay, then this is the basic difference between the exploratory and descriptive. Okay, I thought I might be able to explain this properly. Then moving forward, and I would request to you people, if you'll face some problem to understand these things, then you can write a mail to me. Okay? This is my request to the organizer to share my email ID. Already I have shared my, I have put my email ID on first slide. I'll share also the slides with the organizer, then they'll send the slides with you people. Okay, they'll share with you. Then in that way you can contact me. Then we'll discuss your, we'll try to make more means explanatory to you people if you'll face right now some issues, because I can understand, because it's very less time to explain these things in us 1 hour time. Then explanatory versus correlation research. Similarly, exploratory and explanatory. Okay, explain. The word exploratory is from the explain. It is the most common type of research method and is responsible for establishing cause and effect relationship that allow generalizations to be extended to similar realities. For example, which kind of research falls under the exploratory research? Investigating the brittle behavior of a specific material when under compressive load. Means you want to explain why it is happening. If what is the brittle behavior of some material when that is the compressive load, then you want to explain the reason why it is happening. Similarly, correlations means you want to, you find out, you try to get the relationship between the two variables. Okay, two or more than variables. What is the relationship among the different variables? Okay, then the correlation research is what? The purpose of this type of scientific research is to identify the relationship between two or more variables. Suppose demand and supply, how they are related. Okay, if will demand and price, if will increase the price, then demand is decreasing. That is the established rule. Then this is the, just I'm quoting the example. Okay, that is established. Law of demand is established fundamental rule. Okay, so this is the correlation. There are these income and expenditure. There are these are the variables. Okay, how they are related. Then you can every research has some variables. Without the variables, you can't conduct the research. Okay, it depends upon your domain. It depends upon the research problem, which kind of the variable you are considering. Then definitely you'll have some understanding. You want to get the relationship between those variables. Okay. So these are the examples of the explanatory and correlation research. Then quantitative and qualitative. Okay, these are the according to the inquiry mode. How you will get the answer of your research problem. How you will go get the answer, what would be your sample, how you'll get the data. Then according to that, whether you are going to take a qualitative data or quantitative data. In that way, this means you can say that these are the which kind of the research you are doing. Quantitative research is expressed in numbers and graphs. It is used to test or confirm theories and assumptions. This type of research can be used to establish generalizable facts about a topic. Common quantitative methods include experiments, observations recorded as numbers, and survey with close-ended questions. In that way, you can collect and you can conduct the qualitative. And moving further, quantitative research is what? Quantitative research is expressed in words. It is used to understand concepts, thoughts, and experiences. This type of research enables you to gather in-depth insights on topics that are not well understood. Okay, when you go with the qualitative research, if this, I'll tell you that after this slide, deductive and inductive research. Okay, inductive means you want to come up with some theories. The area which is not developed well, then you must conduct the quantitative research. And if you want to test the theory is already developed, then you want to test, then you have to go with the qualitative. Okay, then the common qualitative methods include what? Interviews with open-ended questionnaires, observations described in words, and literature reviews, and that explores concepts and theories. Then here I would like to add one more thing, that quantitative research publication is comparatively, means I should say that comparatively tougher than to the quantitative, because it's very difficult to publish the qualitative work, because you have to have you have only the words, terminologies in that way. And my entire research of my PhD is I did my PhD using the qualitative research, and I use the case study method to conduct my research in my PhD. And it's very difficult to publish the qualitative work. But yes, if your work is new, then you are trying to explore something new, which is not explored till now. Even though in qualitative also that has happened, but well, if there is some hazy kind of the things, people have not come up with some concrete output, then you can go with the qualitative research. There are the more classifications. Qualitative research is for the objective kind of the problem. There is a subjectivity. Okay. Then deductive reasoning used to synthesize the data. I'll tell you what is the deductive reasoning. Here in qualitative research, inductive reasoning used to synthesize the data. I'll also throw the light on the inductive reasoning. Concise and narrow. It is a complex and broad. Yes, this is a concise. Test theory, develop theory. As I said, cause and effect relationship is tested in the quantitative research, meaning discovery, correlation. Okay. Numbers and statistical analysis are used in quantitative research method, but words and narratives, statements, hypotheses, and you can say that the propositions are the made based on the qualitative research. Single reality that can be measured and generalized, multiple realities that are continually changing with individual interpretation, because qualitative subjectivity is there. Okay, that's why that is multiple realities is there. Then these are the basic difference between the qualitative and quantitative research. Then I said that what is the deductive investigation and what is the inductive investigation. Inductive and deductive. Deductive means if you have some theory and you want to test that theory, then you have to, means you are, I'll show this one first. Let me show this one. Okay. I think this, with the help of this picture, you will have more understanding. This is the left hand side shows the, this arrow. This is coming from top to bottom, deductive waterfall. This is called the deductive, means from theory, then you are making the hypothesis, collecting the data and testing the data and confirmation of that theory. Means your this kind of the research is in deductive research, you are driving from theory to confirmation. Here, inductive is what? Observation, then pattern, then tentative hypothesis and theory development. Here, just if I tell you Newton's first law, not first law, that is the that is the gravitational law. Okay, apple was there was the Newton who was observing that the apple was falling from the tree. Why it is falling from only for top to bottom? Then he had a that is the super example of the inductive theory. Okay, he established that based on the observation only. The apple कैसे गिरता है, नीचे ही क्यों गिरता है, तो उसने क्या लाया फिर gravitational law लेके आया. ठीक है, ये है. ठीक है, तो this is the difference between the inductive and deductive. Let me sorry. Inductive investigation is what? Reality is explained by general laws that points to certain conclusions. Conclusions are expected to be a part of premise of the research problem and considered correct if the premise is valid and the inductive method is applied correctly. All racing cars must go over 18 miles per hour. The Joe Charger is a racing car, therefore it can be go over 80 miles per hour. This is one of the finding. Example of the inductive theory is what? In this type of the research, knowledge is generated from an observations to achieve a generalization. It is based on the collection of specific data to develop new theories. Example, I have seen 4 students at this school have trash on the floor. Then I can generalize that the student in this school are disrespectful. Okay, I made the theory based on my observation. Okay, so this is the example. Then in summary, what we can say that the main difference between inductive and deductive reasoning is that inductive reasoning aims to developing a theory, while deductive reasoning aims at testing an existing theory. Then I should request to all of you here to think about your research problem and try to understand and try to dig your research problem and try to categorize which kind of the research you are doing, inductive or deductive, after going after understanding these basic things. Then here everyone is aware about this primary research and secondary research. Primary means based on the primary data. Okay, primary data is what? Means you are going and collecting the data directly from the source. Okay, and secondary data is what? Secondary data is available on the website. There are the agencies, some sources, booklets. There are these sources. Means you're not collecting. Means the researchers do not collect the data from the source. They use some repository data to conduct their research. That kind of the research is called the secondary research. And in the primary research, researchers go to collect the data. They meet the potential data sources and they collect the data. They make some, they must have some tool to collect the data. Then in that way, and my research was primary research. Okay, I collected the data, I visited, I conducted the case study, I visited the industry, collected the data, conducted the interviews, observed the processes. In that way, my research was under the primary research. Then in that way, these are the fundamentals, classifications of the research. Okay, the research approach, how you can conduct, how you can go, how you can solve your problem after understanding of your research problem. Then you might apply the quantitative approach to answer your research questions. You might apply qualitative. It depends upon your research problem, your domain, and mixed approach also. Okay, that is called the mixed hybrid approach. Some of the qualitative and rest of the things are in quantitative. Then most of the means all the research falls under either of this or that category. Okay, either of any of these categories. So these are the research approach. Okay, according to the approach also, as I said, where you are applying, which kind of the method you'll apply in the research. Okay, then these are the research approaches. The now significance of the research. Research inculcates scientific and inductive thinking, and it promotes the development of logical habits of thinking and organizations. Yes, I think you must agree with this. The participants, those who are in between, they must realize that, they might have realized that the thought process have changed. Before research, what we do is what we understand when we were in school, when we were in a colleges, whatever are written in a book, then we definitely, that is the we directly adopt those things. We never think about that. We never try to critique. We never tried to critique that things. Okay, that's why I think that is the transformation. After suppose, yes, I'll say that thing. I'll definitely, you people will realize that after your PhD journey, your research journey, that you have some transformation in your thought process. Okay, and your thinking. Then research inculcates scientific and inductive thinking and logical habits. Then you see the things differently. If I'll say something, then you'll think, oh, why you are saying like that? What are the reason behind that? What might be other option? What might be other answer of this question? What you are saying, I'm not agreeing with that. Then in that way, this helps. That's why everyone should go in research in once in a life. Then that transformation will be realized after your research. Research provides the basis for nearly all government policies in our economic system. Yes, that is also one of the importance of the research. Government uses our research data. Government poses to people. They give the projects. Okay, there are the various agencies in our India also. They are providing the money to the researchers to take the problems, contemporary problems, and come up with the answers. And if they feel that your research answer is right, then they apply. Social research, environmental research. Lots of the fundings are being done by the government of India for conducting the research in different areas. Then another important aspects of the research is what? It has a special significance in solving various operational and problems of the business industry. Yes, here in what we are lacking in our India, our industries and academics are going in silos. They're not working together. But in Western countries, they are having very good integration between the academics and the industry. That's why the professors of the MIT, Chicago University, they are the collaboration with the industry. They are taking the real life problem and solving the problem for the industry. And industry people also come to the academic institutions. Then our NEP 2020 is more, I should say that they emphasize that the importance of the collaboration between the industry and academics. That's why they should come and they take the problem, business problem, operational problem of the business industry. Then in that way, they work together. They must work together to come up with the answer. That is the one of the aspect of the research, important aspect. Research is equally important for social scientists in studying social relationship and in seeking answers to the various social problems. Yes, lots of the research are being done in social problems. And the results of those problems are definitely, some of the results are very significant to make the policies by the governments. And to those students, to those students who have to write the master's or PhD thesis, research may mean a charism or a way to attain a high position in social structure. Yes. Okay. You want to make your career. That's why in that way, that is the significance of your research. Importance of the research for the PhD scholars, those do not have the PhD till now. They want to have. That is one of the significance. Yeah. The philosopher and thinkers, research may mean the outlet of the new ideas and insights. Okay. What you can do. What is the new thing? To literary man and woman, research may mean the development of new styles and creative work. And to analysts and intellectuals, research may mean the generalization of the new theories. And in that way, how the research can contribute to the society. These are the some way by which this research can contribute into the country and economic aspects, social aspects, various areas. Okay, so these are the importance of the research. Okay. Then here you must understand what is the methods and methodology. Okay. What do you mean by that? Suppose I'll give the one very before going into the theory, I'll try to explain with the help of the example. Suppose I want to go to the Raipur. Okay, then what should be the way how I can reach to the Raipur? Then Raipur can be, I can reach by the train, by the I should say that the special fast train, local train. These are the further categories of the trains. Okay, then I can go by the bus, I can go by the bike, I can go by the car, my own car, by private car. Okay, then these are the way by which I can go to the Raipur. Then what should I adopt actually? Okay, suppose I want to reach Raipur to catch my flight from Raipur and I want to reach within 2 hours. And my flight is about morning 5 o'clock morning. And that time I do not have the train. Okay, then what should be my best options to reach the Raipur airport by the private taxi or my own taxi if someone is there. Okay, then what do you understand by these two things? Okay, then now let me show these things, then you will be able to relate that thing. The example what I quoted, then you will be able to relate the things. Okay, the scope is research method, the scope is lesser than the research methodology, and the scope is very wider than the research methods. Got my point? Please think in that way. It is a part of research methodology. Research method is what? It is a part of research methodology. The methodology is broader. It is many dimensions. As I explained, I quoted, okay? It seeks to answer what did the researcher use to complete his research. Then I think my research question was to reach the Raipur. Then what should be the answer? It seeks the answer, how did the researchers complete his study? Okay, then the study was to reach. Then how did the researchers complete? There were the various means, by car, by road, by train. Okay, then that is the option which were available, is that the part of the research. Broader thing comes under the research methodology. Okay, research methods are techniques and tools by which you your research or a subject or a topic. Okay, personal taxi. What is what? That was the method to reach the Raipur to catch my flight. Okay, that was one of the option according to my situation, according to my fulfilling the objective. Methodology explains, justify the techniques and tools by which you may proceed with your research. Okay, what is this? Explains and justifies the techniques and tools by which you may proceed. I want to proceed to Raipur. I want to reach. By what way? There were some ways. I quoted it already. I think in that way you people will be able to correlate my example with these things and keep in your mind while you can also understand, you can also apply these basic things into your research problem also. It involves the task of conducting experiments, tests, survey, and the like, utilizing the knowledge and skill learned through research methodology. Okay. It involves the learning of various techniques to conduct the research and acquiring knowledge to perform tests, experiments, surveys, and critical analysis. It aims at finding solution to research problem. Research method aims is to what? To finding solutions to research problem, while research methodology ensures the employment of the correct procedure to solve the problem. Research methods are the end of any scientific or non-scientific research, while research methodology paves the way to choose appropriate research methods, and thus it is the beginning of any research. Then the method, the type, the way, the modes to reach the Raipur for 5, then that was your research methodology. I opted taxi, that was my research method. In that way, I want to conclude this one. Okay, I think I was able to explain properly what is the difference between the research method and research methodology. Here, with the help of this picture, also you can understand this. This is a broader box. Approach is the broader, qualitative, quantitative. Then comes the methodology. Then under the methodology, method, procedure, and techniques. Okay, these are the basic difference between the approach, methodology, method, procedure, and techniques. I think in this way you will be able to understand. Oh, next is what? Research processes. What are the steps to conduct research? Those who are very new in the research, this is a very new for them, but those who are in between, I think they might aware about these things. Okay, there are the 7 or 8 steps, proper steps. First, define research problems. Okay, you must have your research problem at beginning of your PhD journey. After completing your coursework, you should think about that. Okay, then what? How you can derive your research problem? Then you have to go and conduct the what? Thorough literature review. Review concept and theories, review previous research findings. This is 2 steps. Then formulate your research question and hypothesis. That is the first step. The next involves research design, including sample design. What method you will use? What should be your research design? What methods you will use? Which kind of the data you will use? How you'll get the data? Okay, that thing's covered by this step 4. Then now next is what? Collect data. Then after designing your research, then you have to collect the data, primary data or secondary data. Okay. Then in that way you have to collect the data. Then after execution of those data, then analyze the data and test the hypothesis, then interpretation. Okay. Then here F and FF is source, feed forward, serve the vital function of providing the criteria for evaluation, and feedback helps to controlling the subsystem to which they transmitted. So these are the major steps. You can understand by this also. Okay. Identification of subject area, your first step. Problem definition and identification is the second step of the research process. Literature review is the third. Selection of the research design, subjects, and data collection techniques is step 4. Data gathering, data collection is the step 5. Data processing and analysis is step 6. Implications and conclusion, data analysis. Okay. Interpretation is your step 7. And the last is the publish and communicate your result. Research literature paper writing. And I have seen that the organizer have scheduled their sessions according to these steps. You will also check. Okay. There are the detailed sessions, dedicated sessions for each steps of the research process. Then definitely you'll learn a lot. Okay. Then how you can formulate your research problem. This is the first step. Okay. The formulation of a general topic into a specific research problem thus constitute the first step in a scientific inquiry. Essentially, 2 steps are involved in formulating the research problem, understanding the problem thoroughly, and rephrasing the same into the meaningful terms from an analytical viewpoint. Okay. With the help of the example, you can find out. This is the example. Okay. Then step 2 is the extensive literature review. Then after finding out your problem, then you have to conduct the extensive literature review to get the support and to establish your research gaps. Okay. Then literature can be your research paper, books, internet materials. Okay. And research literature review, what I had is, it should be remembered that one source will lead to another. The earlier studies, if any, which are similar to study in hand should be carefully studied. Okay, this is a very important and crucial step in research. You should not leave any literature. If you leave, then your problem, you might be in problem. A good library will be great help to the researcher at this stage. Then development of working hypothesis based on your literature. You can make your hypothesis. Okay, you can make your problem. Okay, hypothesis is what? That is a tentative assumptions made in order to draw out and test its logical and empirical consequences. That is the called hypothesis. Okay, then that is the research problem. Okay, hypothesis should be very specific and limited to the piece of research in hand because it has to be tested. The role of hypothesis is to guide the researchers by delimiting the area of research and keep him on the right track. In that way, this is the fourth step. Then research design. What it has a which kind of the data you will take, you will collect, what should be your research method, qualitative, quantitative, primary, secondary, inductive, deductive. Okay, so these are the part of your research design. So there is a one specific session, then definitely you'll learn a lot. Just I am giving the brief about introduction of these steps. The determining sample design. Yes, after designing your research design, then you must have the sample. How many people should be, how many data you should collect. Okay, then I think that is, you people are very aware, you might be aware about these word population and sample. Okay, all the items under consideration in any field of inquiry constitute a inverse or population. A complete enumeration of all the items in the population is known as the census inquiry, and this is not feasible. Always will not conduct census inquiry. Okay, census inquiry is not possible in practice under many circumstances. For instance, blood testing is done only on a sample basis. Most of the research are based on the sample only. Okay, hence quite often we select only a few items from the universe for our study purpose. The items so selected constitute what is technically called a sample. Okay, this is an example. Why we go for the sampling? It saves time, because if you go to conduct the research for an entire population, then it will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of money. That's why sampling. We prefer the sampling. Okay. Then sampling is what? This is what your target population. This is study population, and this is a sample. Then we extrapolate the findings of the samples for the population with the help of inferential techniques. Okay, statistical techniques. Okay, I'll not take that session. I'll not take anything on that thing. Okay. Then these are the sampling techniques where you can apply different things. Okay. Different sample techniques are there. Then you can apply, and based on these sample techniques, you can choose your sample and collect the data. Broadly, it is classified into two categories: non-probability samples and probability samples. Okay. Further classifications are also available. Then please refer the slides, and I think there is a one dedicated session for this one. Then data. Data is what? Informations expressed qualitatively or quantitatively. Collecting of data. Okay, data are measurements of the characteristics. Characteristics are referred as the variables: height, weight, sex, tribe, etc. And it depends upon your research problem. Then basically data is classified into two categories: qualitative and quantitative. Okay. Then qualitative data example is what? Marital status is what? Qualitative, married or unmarried. Political party, name of the political party, eye color. There are the various data type characteristics which comes under the qualitative. And quantitative is what? Numerical data. There are the two types of the data under quantitative: discrete and continuous. Discrete means number of children. It should be exactly 2, 3, 5, 10, 50, 100. It should not be like that, 10.5. That's why this kind of the data falls under the discrete. These are the very basic things, but we must understand, okay? Because we feel that we know that thing, but if I ask what is the discrete data, then some of you might face the problem to give the proper exact answer. Okay. And continuous: weight, voltage. Okay, weight is 10.5, height is 6.5 meter, in that way. Okay, this falls under this kind of the category. Then collecting the data, primary data and secondary data. Primary data can be collected either through experiment or through survey. If the researcher conducts an experiment, he or she observes some quantitative measurements of the data, with the help of which he examines the truth combined with the hypothesis. Okay, then these are the collection data, observation, test, survey, document analysis. Primary data के लिए. What about the secondary data? Secondary data you can collect from the source, then you should code that source also. There are some authentic website also. There are the service providers, those who collect the data for you. Okay, and there are various things existing in this one. Then data collection tools. These are the some of the tools which I have brought here for your understanding. Participatory methods. Okay, you can collect data in this way: record and secondary data, observation, survey, focus group. In that way, you can collect the data. I'll take because to make more clear these basic things, we need kind of the topics, and he has these. Definitely, they have a very dedicated slots and sessions for all these things. Okay, then no need to worry about that. Sir isn't very means just I'm giving the I should say that the some understanding and some glimpse of these things. Okay, detail will be covered by the other speakers, and that for that dedicated session. Then next stage is analysis of data. This is the 7th step of your. After collecting data, you have to interpret the data. Okay, then there are the various techniques which are used to analyze the data. Descriptive analytics, it gives the answer what happened. Diagnostic analysis is used to why did it happen and what will happen. Predictive analysis, and you have to have basic understanding of the stats to analyze your data, to interpret your data. After collection of the data, main roles comes to understanding of the data. What is the meaning of those data? Because data, just tabular form of data cannot give any understanding, cannot give any input to you. Then you must have the basic knowledge, means at least the statistics tool which is required to use in your research problem, you must go through that. In that way, you can interpret the data, you can understand the result and interpret. Then hypothesis testing. Okay, after understanding, after getting the data, then you can test your hypothesis. There are the various techniques available to test the hypothesis. Some of the tests are chi-square test, chi-square test, t-test, f-test. Okay, there are the various other tests also available over there. Then I think that would be covered in the one dedicated topic, that is a hypothesis testing. Then generalization and interpretation. Then after all these things, then now you have to generalize your result. Okay. If a hypothesis is tested and upheld several times, it may be possible for researchers to arrive at generalization to build a theory. Okay. Then this is the ultimate conclusion of your research. Okay. Then preparation. After concluding your research, then you have to make your thesis, research paper writing. Okay. Then it covers the primarily pages, main text, and end matter. And the main text of the report should have the following parts: introduction, summary, main report, and conclusion. So that would be covered. Okay. So these are the some basic understanding how you can what should be the part of your paper writing and your thesis writing. Then now this is an important thing you should keep in your mind. What should be the qualities of the good research? Okay. Good research is a systematic. As I emphasize that it should be systematic and scientific. Okay. Systematic characteristic of the research does not rule out creative thinking, but it certainly does result the use of guessing and intuition in arriving at the conclusion. Good research should be very systematic and scientific. It should be logical. What it implies that research is guided by the rules of logical reasoning, and the logical process of induction and deduction are of great value in carrying out the research. Okay. Good research is empirical. What do you mean by that? Empirical means based on the observation. Okay. It implies that research is related basically to one or more aspects of a real situation and deals with concrete data that provides a basis for external validity and research results. Yes, that should be based on your observations, your data. That's why it should be the empirical, not hypothetical. Is replicable, as I said. If I conduct research, my result says this. Then if I'll provide same kind of the circumstances and environment, then the same result should be replicated. That should be the quality. That should be the inherent quality of the result. These characteristics allows research results to be verified by replicating the study and thereby building a sound basis for the decision. So these are the four important qualities of the good research. Please keep in your mind while doing the research. These should be the part, and it should be the integral part of your research. Then, and last, I'll tell you about the problems which are encountered by the researchers in India. Some of the problems I have brought here. To lack of the scientific training. Yes, suppose you are doing your research, then I think you must be trained properly. What is the scientific training? What should be the part of research? That's why this kind of the FDPs are now being conducted properly. And I think these may help you to understand properly how you can go ahead with your research. Insufficient interaction between the university research department. As I said that, between the departments as well as there is a insufficient interaction between the university and the industry. That might create one of the issue faced by the researchers. Suppose I want to conduct some research for the practical problem, real life problem, then if I approach to industry, then in India what we feel is that people means they're not able to, they not provide permission easily. They think that what they'll do, if they'll come, they'll take our data. That is that's why they must have some kind of the fear in their mind. They'll not allow to the researchers to the inside the industry. That might be one of the lack of this particular thing. Okay, and there is also a difficulty of timely availability of the published data. That might be one of the problem. Then nowadays that is being resolved, and most of the data are available in our websites. Okay, then we should find out the authentic website to get and use the data. So these are some problems encountered with researchers in India, and there are various other problems I have not brought. And one-to-one means specific problems cannot be discussed over there. And I am a researcher, I have this problem, I have a problem with my supervisor, I have a problem with the university, I have a problem with this, that. These are not the problems which covered under this in a broader manner. Okay. Then there may at a time take place the problem of conceptualization and also problems relating to the process of data collection and relating things. This might be another problem which we face, which we researcher of India we face. Okay, problem conceptualization. This is very important part. Then I should say that I should appeal to you people, don't take too much time to means you should take proper time to conceptualize your problem. Okay, go through the proper literature, good literature, do more study and find out your problem. And problem should be very concrete. It should not be happen like that. I made some problem right now, and after 1 year or 6 months, I thought no, this problem is not concrete. Already someone has addressed this problem. This should not happen. If you do it in this way, then your research, your PhD is never ending, and your research is never ending. Okay, these are some problems which I have brought. Then now I should say that I have covered all the all important and introductory topics related to the research. And this is now over from my side. Thank you very much once again to organizer, AICTE, CSVTU, Principal, Vishwavidyalaya Engineering College, Director, LCIT, and Management of the LCIT. Thank you one and all for listening, for being with me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this lovely session. I hope all the dignitaries here and all the faculty members who have joined this meeting and the session would have gained a good amount of knowledge, especially to the people who are new into this research thing, and the people who are into intermediate or who have good experience into it. That would be a refreshment session for them. Thank you so much, sir, for taking this session from LCIT team and also from AICTE and CSVTU. I would be very thankful and would hope to listen to you again in upcoming sessions. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Okay, thank you, one and all. Okay, should I close meeting now?
Sure, sir.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. And please
Bye-bye.
share my mail ID with the participants, and I'll share the slides with you. Then you can also share slides with the participants. Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay, thank you one and all. Okay.
Requesting all the participants, you can check in the chat box that we have shared the link regarding the quiz and feedback, requesting all of you to fill both the forms and lead the session, because this would be shared here itself. We won't be sharing it in the WhatsApp group. Thank you.